Welcome to Star FM Stadium in Townsville, where the second of our two games tonight is between the Townsville Heat and the Gladstone City...
Port City Power.
Port City Power. That's it, Gladstone Port City Power. And, well, we expected the last game potentially to go the way it did. Tony Parsons joined by Mark Roble. Mark, as I said, we expected probably the ladies' game to be as it was, ultimately. Gladstone did hang around for a little while before it got pretty untidy in that second half. What can we expect in the men's contest?
Look, I think, look, again, you'd think Townsville will come in as favourites, and so they should be there, sitting up near the top of the ladder in the top couple of spots. Gladstone, had a disjointed start to the season, but then within the last month, they went on a 4-game streak, and then that got snapped last week by Cairns. So they're sitting just outside the 8 right now, and knowing that they've got to have a good next month to make sure that they're playing in the finals. So, speaking with Coach Walmsley, he was just a bit disappointed with the way they played last week. Just didn't play with the same effort and intensity that they'd had for the previous month before that. So that's something they'll be looking to rectify tonight. But this game should be a little bit up and down, So, Gladstone's motto with their men, and talking to Coach Brady about it beforehand, was they like to play up tempo. They like to push the ball at all opportunities. They play a high possession game, so there'll be a lot of shot attempts throughout this game. So that'll suit Townsville as well. So it should be hopefully an exciting game with a lot of points scored, I would think. Is that how we see the trend in men's basketball, though? Yeah, look, it's, the women's game, probably more often than not, won by the team that defends better. With the men's game, it's probably a little bit more the other way. It's the team that scores more points and, plays that offensive end better. But, take into that, early in the year when Gladstone were losing games, they were giving up over 100 points almost every game. Those 4 wins they had on the trot were games where they knuckled down on D a little bit better and held teams to lower scores. So they've realised that they've got to focus on that a little bit more than what they probably paid attention to early in the season. But that's a byproduct of the way they play offensively, because by, running the ball hard offensively, taking early shots, that leads to more possessions in a game, which leads to more scores. Who do I identify as the go-to people for Gladstone? Yeah, look, Gladstone, they've got a couple of players. You've got Young, he was, I think, Player of the Week earlier in the season. Hancock, who was, on the Illawarra Hawks roster during the NBL season, as a development player through there, so a little bit of experience. And then the guys said they'd make it easier for us and refer to Shakuk as Shaq. That's how he goes by his name. So, his name's a bit of a mouthful, so we're just going to refer to him Shaq, but he's the other, more influential player for the Gladstone team. All right, about to get underway. There was some doubt about how many minutes Harry Froling would play in this one. He popped his thumb. What's a thumb popping? Yeah, I think he did it. I'm not sure if it was last weekend or even during the week playing in A grade. It was one of those 2 occasions, but he'll look. He won't let that hold him back, and he'll get out there and have a good run around tonight. All right. So we've had a couple of goes at the tip. Let's see if we can go third time lucky. And this time we do have it. Townsville with first possession in the men's game as they take on the Gladstone Port City Power. Bit of a mouthful, that name, but I think we refer to them as the Power. That'll do it. Okay, first opportunity for Townsville is a miss. And Gladstone down the floor in transition. It gets turned over, though, and Wiltshire off the window. 2 points will count. And there's that up-tempo straight away from both sides, isn't it? Yeah, look, I think the shot clock operator is going to be kept busy tonight. Young. Hancock with the miss. And Jet with the rebound for Townsville. Wiltshire. Jet. Works to the right. Baker pulls up for a long range 2. Doesn't drop. Rebound is with the Shack. The Shack. Here's Young now in transition. Geez, great nice first step there. He just caught Wiltshire on his heels a little bit, punched it straight back through the middle very quick. And
screen set by Masters too, or Muster. And a foul given away at the other end. It's 2 apiece at the moment. But he just burnt by.
That was very slick. So if that's what we're going to see through tonight, I'm looking forward to watching this. And hopefully we've got plenty of people out there in YouTube streaming the game tonight and enjoying themselves.
And maybe the Shack can work on those shorts and get them right soon, because we've seen them down and up a couple of times already. That singlet not being tucked in to his liking, as Baker makes the first of 2 at the foul line. They split their road double last weekend, Townsville.
Yeah, look, probably a little bit of a surprise dropping that game to Logan, but you know, Logan are a very good team. I think Townsville probably went away thinking they could come back with the double. So they'll be looking definitely to try and bounce back and get themselves a good win back here at home.
Musters, here's the Shack. Long range 3, doesn't drop. And good work underneath the rim.
By Allen there.
Yep.
Yeah, look, just read that short shot and you know, got it quickly back up at the rim, drew the foul, and he'll go to the foul line now.
So Allen will be at the line for 2. How's that cold here? We won't deteriorate as the match wears on.
No, not at all. Not at all.
First is made. Makes both. As we saw here 2 weeks ago, Southern Districts really struggle at the foul line. And turnovers, and probably cost them ultimately, only going down by a little over a handful of points. Good start for both sides, 4 apiece. Jet.
See the Gladstone men coming out into a zone in this possession. So
Wilshire for 3.
Mixed it up a couple of times through the first possessions. Just trying to keep Townsville guessing a bit.
Wilshire off the Crawford pass. Frolling on Young, goes inside, lost it, got it back. No look pass outside to Wilshire with the floater. Doesn't drop. Baker can't get the rebound. Musters does. And now here's React down the floor in transition for the visitors. And the pass, a deflection there from Jet. And they're the little 1%ers you like to see. And Allen just a little bit proppy on an ankle as well. And the first change of the night for the Power, and Lumcon comes in. Shot from Hancock doesn't drop. Frolling with the rebound for Townsville. Hands it off to Jet as we sit at 4 apiece. Whilst it's been up tempo, there hasn't been a lot of baskets made just yet. Mark. Yeah, Crawford gets a good look. Off target. Frolling with the rebound. 3-on-1. Dishes it back outside. Finds Jordan Jet. Down the lane. Puts the 2 away.
Yeah, nice finish under pressure there by Jet. Just played through that contact. Something he actually thrives on. You know, he craves that physical contact in the play.
Here's Young. React around Crawford. Puts it up over Frolling. Doesn't drop. Last touch by Gladstone. Will be a Townsville ball from the baseline. Just looking to the bench, Allen does look a little bit freer. He was very proppy on one ankle, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Here's Crawford, good look for 3. That one rattled around, looked good off the hand. Nice work from Wilshire inside. Baker puts it away off the window. Townsville lead it now by 8-4.
Great touch pass there by Wilshire. Just, you know, ball led in his hands and was out as quick as you knew it. Found Baker underneath the rim, and Gladstone straight back. You know, the Townsville are going to have to stop that penetration. Otherwise, you know, Gladstone will keep themselves in this game and, you know, make it a lot harder.
Young with 2. It's a 2-point Townsville lead. Wilshire deep in the corner. Crawford searching for a 3. That one doesn't drop either. Young with the rebound in transition. Here's Hancock. Doesn't drop. React with the rebound. Back to Hancock and a little untidy.
Overcooked that one slightly.
Ended up with the Blue Boys.
The Blue Crew enjoyed that one right in front of them, yes.
Wilshire. Crawford. Frolling. Wilshire. Jet. Seizing the shot over Hancock. Doesn't drop. And the rebound is with Lumcon. He's into the game for Allen. Goes to take on Wilshire, gets by him, draws the foul on Frolling, I think, and he'll go to the line for a bonus after the shot dropped. And it counts, and the foul is on Wilshire.
Yeah, look, I'd imagine Townsville probably this next possession down need to get the ball in Frolling's hands. You know, we're expired almost through 4.5 minutes now, and he's yet to have a shot attempt, and he's been so influential in the first stints of games. So Gladstone have done a good job keeping the ball out of his hands, but I think Townsville need to make that a priority right now. And
now they lead by 1, Gladstone, as Lumcon converted at the foul line. Jett, Crawford, Frolling, Wilshire heads baseline, gets double teamed. Baker does well to get the tip pass to Crawford. Inside they go to Frolling. Townsville lead by 1.
Yeah, good patience, distorted the zone, got him into a lot of scramble, and then nice dive down the lane by Harry.
Young. That's a very soft turnover to Frolling. Down the floor in transition, and there's a soft foul. So a double whammy for Young. The poor turnover and then a soft foul.
Yeah, it just didn't leave Frolling any room there, and the referee left with no choice, just that little incidental contact, but that was enough to force Frolling out of bounds.
A little lazy, I thought.
Yeah, look, it's probably didn't have the support back to try and chop him off properly though, so it's one of those sacrificial fouls sometimes you need to make to stop a easy breakaway hoop.
Here's Jett for Townsville. Floater for 2.
Yeah, good start by Jett here tonight. He's looking to impose himself early.
Hancock with possession for Gladstone. Inside he goes to Musters. Hancock for 3. 12 apiece.
A little bit more on radar than his last shot attempt.
Yeah. And Townsville turn it over. No.
Foul is called there.
Yep. Foul's called on
Riak.
Yep.
Yeah. So just as that pass was coming in, Riak just grabbed Frolling, and while the baseline official had it as out of bounds, the middle official came up with the correct call there.
Townsville inbound from the baseline. It's 12 apiece. 4:35 left first term. Crawford, Wilshire, and a foul will be called on Lumcon. It's a slick haircut, isn't it?
You'd look good with that, Tony, trying to get out there and peddle some houses.
Yeah, that shan't be happening. Jett.
Might help on the touch field, though.
As the shot from Baker doesn't drop. Lumcon down the floor in transition, goes to Hancock for 3. That one doesn't drop. Baker off a touch off Musters, and it'll be a Townsville ball from the baseline. As the first change will be made for Townsville, and Keegan Tudhope will come in for Townsville. And the home court shooting woes continue for Peter Crawford. A little off.
Looking a little bit out of balance right now, so particularly those Friday night games, as some people know, PC worked for Townsville basketball, so transferring his mindset out of being in the workplace here and coming then to do his other job, he's just been struggling with that a little bit this season.
Here's Riak for 3 and puts it away, and it's a 3-point Gladstone lead. 3:50 left first term. Well, they promised up tempo. It's exactly what the crowd's getting. Wilshire, Jett for 3, can't reply. Young with the rebound for Gladstone.
Again, I think I'd just like to see Frolling getting some more touches right now. The Heat are just playing such a perimeter-orientated game. They're not taking advantage of that size that they've got.
Hancock deep in the corner for 3. More. 6-point Gladstone lead. They're up. They're up. And Townsville have called a timeout.
So yeah, timeout for Townsville there. Look, much needed by Coach Anderson probably. They're trailing 6, 7 minutes down in the game. And Gladstone looking in good control of the game right now. So they're playing with good poise on the offensive end. They are playing quick, but you wouldn't say that they're taking bad shots. And defensively, they've been doing a good job with this zone and extending and just forcing Townsville to live on the perimeter. So You know, maybe the Heat need to try and, like the Flames were in the earlier game, try and get some touches at the elbow areas and try and get the ball in, look for some high-low action. But at the moment, it's just Gladstone are forcing Townsville to shift the ball around the perimeter the whole time.
You talk about Harry Froling. He's only just had that one shot attempt, hasn't he?
Yeah, so I think we see him. He's gone to the bench now, so out of this time out, we've got Matty Reese coming in to replace Harry. Look, Harry might be a little bit off with that thumb as well, so that might be part of the issue that they've got.
18-12, it's a 6-point Gladstone lead, and they have scored the last 6. And the biggest run, they did score 9, so it's been in fits and starts for Gladstone, with a 9-point and a 6-point run out of their 15 out of their 18 have been on runs.
So we'll see the Heat, what they've drawn up in this timeout. So Gladstone coming back out in the zone again.
Baker.
Well executed. The two bigs just came in, screened up the low side of the zone, and allowed the Gladstone defenders to creep up.
Young, tough basket off the window. Replies with 2 to keep it at 6 for Gladstone.
Well, Young's been impressive in this first quarter. He's Townsville look to run the same set again, but don't get it off this time.
Wiltshire, Jet. Shot clock's at 5. Inside they go. Baker, almost the same play.
And look, what they've done here out of the timeout is, you know, while Froling hasn't got those touches, he's gone to the bench. Baker is playing, you know, the 4 spot out there. 2 great possessions to get 2 good shots at the rim. And suddenly the game's back to 4 points now, and Townsville just looking a lot more composed.
And Gladstone turning it over, their last possession. So Townsville with possession. Rees goes to Shoot Hope, inside to Baker. Baker backing in on React. Doesn't put it away. Rees can't get the rebound. Musters does. And here's Young over the top of Jet and puts it away off the window.
Yeah, look, Jet couldn't have probably done any more of that possession. He, you know, played with balance, forced Young into the step back contested. So Young was just too good on that shot attempt.
6-point Gladstone lead, 22-16. 140 left in this first term. Wiltshire thought about it, and then he did shoot the 3. He looked nervous about taking it.
I think his toe just got a little bit sort of towards the 3-point line there, so he adjusted to take advantage of that. So
bit twitchy.
Yeah.
3-point Gladstone lead. Hancock, Young with the 3. Doesn't drop. Baker with the rebound for Townsville and the important stop. Wiltshire in transition for Townsville. Jet. He's going to shoot the 3. Doesn't drop. Lumcon gets the rebound. Hancock is all on his lonesome down the other end of the floor. Musters gets stripped of possession, gets it back. Outside to React for 3 off the window. 6-point lead to the visitors, 25-19.
Yeah, look, and while Jet's been really good so far in the game, I've got to question that last shot, you know. Early in the shot clock, hadn't really made Gladstone play any D, and then that long miss off the 3 led to that break.
Baker misses. Musters with the rebound. Lumcon goes to Young, and a foul given away by Jet on Young. Third team foul for the quarter for Townsville. And Jet will sit down for the last 25 seconds.
McCulley and Froling come into the game here. McCulley for his first minutes of tonight.
And Young will inbound for...
and for Gladstone, we see Owen come in for the first time tonight as well.
And he had possession and gave it to React. Lumcon on Wiltshire, backing in on Wiltshire. Left-handed shot is good. And the biggest lead of the night is 8. It's with Gladstone, 27-19. Last possession of the term with Townsville. Wiltshire shoots the 2, the long 2, and makes it. It makes it a 6-point lead to Gladstone at quarter time. And at quarter time, it's Gladstone 27, Townsville 21.
Yeah, look, great first quarter by Gladstone. You know, they've come here ready to play. They're certainly not intimidated by playing against Townsville on their court. You know, they've walked in here with full of confidence and come out and played with great pace in the first quarter, moved the ball really well, have had their defensive schemes in place, which sort of, you know, played into their hands for a little while there with Townsville just playing on the perimeter too much. But I think if Townsville can start trying to work the ball back inside a little bit more, try and exploit that size mismatch that they've got, that'll help them drag themselves back into the game a bit more.
For Townsville, Baker has 8 and Wiltshire has 7. For the visitors, the Gladstone Port City Power, Young with 8, and then we've got Hancock and Riak with 6, and Lumcon off the bench with 5.
And look, while we've got a minute here, Tony, probably if we can just talk a little bit about, before the game tonight, we had a little bit of a tribute to, you know, a lot of people out there around basketball in Queensland will have known Steve Wellington was president of Townsville Basketball here for a number of years and involved in the association for a very long time. Unfortunately, left us about a week ago. His life was cut a little bit short, and you know, it's a nice tribute played between the games here this afternoon or this evening with a minute's silence, and Townsville Basketball deciding the best tribute to Wello, and anyone who knew Wello knew that he loved to drink, and he loved to try and look after the patrons of Townsville Basketball. And the upstairs bar up at Townsville Basketball now will be known forever as Wello's Watering Hole, and I'm sure he's watching from upstairs tonight and, you know, got a gold in hand and hopefully celebrating 2 wins for Townsville this evening.
Now, life member of Townsville Basketball, but a fellow life member in Trevor Roberts, having a few words, which wouldn't have been easy for Trevor. I saw Trevor when he was walking upstairs, and it probably wasn't as easy, but he said he probably got it through it better than he thought he would have. But a very nice tribute from a good friend. Yeah,
look, and Wello meant a lot to a lot of people. Like when I first come to Townsville, I was involved with the Heat as an assistant coach, and Wello was the manager, and just an absolute champion of a bloke. And he always let you know what he thought, but he was a great bloke and a great man for Townsville Basketball. So we'll leave it at that. But R.I.P. Wello, and we hope you're having fun upstairs.
Rees with the first points of the second term for Townsville. It's a 4-point game. Musters, Young, Lumcon. So obviously still a miss for Allen with that ankle, or appeared to be an ankle problem. And Townsville with the rebound through Tudhope. Frolling did well then to pull up on the pass. Wiltshire gets another good look for 3. That one doesn't drop. Riak with the rebound to Young. Back to Riak. Owen in the corner. Riak's going to pull up and shoot the 3. What I was interested in out of the first term, no turnovers from Townsville and 3 from Gladstone, but it was really end-to-end, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, Gladstone's turnovers were, you know, I know that it's a hard thing to believe, but there are such things as positive turnovers.
Now, Frolling there, not necessarily liking the contact from Musters. His 2 points did roll around the rim and drop, but he seems agitated by what Musters did underneath the hoop. And we'll have a substitution as Hancock comes in for Lumcon. I'm glad he's off for a while.
It might be interesting viewing these next couple of possessions, Tony, because seeing in previous games, whenever Harry's had a bit of an altercation with someone, it's continued on a little bit. So
there seems to be a conversation at the moment, a one-way conversation being had by Harry Frolling.
Muster's doing well to disengage himself from it right now.
And the shot from Hancock doesn't drop. Wiltshire with the rebound. Sort of remind me of the Soccer World Cup last night when I was watching Australia take on Denmark. The keeper had a lot to say when that penalty shot was about to be taken by Australia, and Eniak did not engage at all.
Yeah, that he did. Yeah, it was interesting to watch.
As it's a 30-25 lead for Gladstone. We've almost had 2 minutes of the second term. Hancock. React on McCulley. Hands in there from Wiltshire. No foul call. Back outside to Hancock. Inside the three-point line and makes the 2. And there is a bit going on between Musters, and he gets a little chat there from the referee.
Delay of game warning, so Musters grabbing the ball out of the hoop and throwing it aside a little bit, which you can't do. So there was a little bit of physical contact there again, though. So all within the rules right now.
It's almost salivating at the prospect here of what we might see. 32-25 in favour of Gladstone. Tudo, McCulley, Jet. Inside it goes to Frolling. Here comes Musters to help out React. He goes baseline on React and then gets fouled by Musters, and there it is. And there's a good conversation happening, but it's still a one-way one.
Yeah, look, Musters just coming over the back there. You know, there was nothing too much about it. Scott Brown, the experienced referee out there now, is just making sure he's interjecting himself and talking to the players about trying to keep a level head. So Scott, very experienced WNBL, NBL ref through the days here. So they've got a good crew out there to try and settle this down.
So Frolling's at the foul line for 2. Makes the first one. Need to work on the low 5 there with McCulley because it was a clean miss. Misses the second one. Jet and McCulley go for the rebound. Frolling then with the 3, doesn't drop. Tudhope with it. And Frolling finds himself on the pine again. And we'll have the floor wipers out as Peter Crawford will come back into the contest for Townsville and Rees will sit down.
I thought Young might have been a little lucky then not to pick up a foul. Like it wasn't in the act of shooting, but he sort of Frolling, as soon as he landed, copped a good bump of that shot block attempt. Floor clean-up going on now, so we'll have it as Townsville ball from the side, and the referee's just resetting the shot clock to 14 here.
And it's back to 14. So we'll inbound through McCulley. Jet. Screen set for him by Frolling. Here's Crawford, who's 0 of 3 at the moment, shooting-wise. Shootout gets a good look for 2, doesn't drop. Rebound for the visitors is with Riak, who quickly gets it to Young. And they're off to the races again. Good work, though, on this occasion by Tudhope. Forced the turnover. Jet. Frolling backing in on Riak. And is that turnover number 1 for the night for Townsville?
Yeah, look, I think Frolling was thinking McCulley was going to lift out of the corner there.
Second turnover for Townsville. Rees had one a little earlier in the term. Musters on Frolling, shoots over Frolling and makes the 2. Points decision at the moment to Musters. 8-point Gladstone lead, 34-26.
The Blue Crew trying to get the Townsville guys going here.
Crawford with the 3. McCulley gets stripped of the possession on the rebound by Young. And he's down the floor in transition. Owen for 3. That doesn't drop. Townsville with the rebound through Jet. Long 2, and it's long. And Shaq Riak goes to Young, and good work by Crawford. Got in the passing lane and then through a poor pass, but through the hustle, Townsville will get possession as it was last touched by Owen out of court. And Baker comes back in for Townsville, and Fig comes in for his first time tonight. And we'll have a timeout charged against Gladstone, but they'd be very pleased with what they've done in the opening term and a half.
Look, you'd have to think so. You know, I think the biggest thing they'd be pleased with right now is that Townsville's only at 26 points halfway through the second quarter. You know, we talked before the game about the fact that early in the season, that was Gladstone's Achilles heel. They were consistently giving up over 100 points. When they were able to play better D, they got themselves wins. So You know, they're obviously got a good focus on that. They've upset Townsville's rhythm, jumping in and out of their zone a little bit, just keeping Townsville guessing. And, you know, probably it would help a little bit more, maybe some penetration out of the heat game right now. It's just very pass orientated, and, you know, maybe a little bit more penetration into the seam, getting into receiver spots a bit better might help them open up some more wide open shots. But they've still got to knock them down, and they've probably struggled a little bit in this quarter just to hit that open shot.
They've shot poorly from outside as well, only 1 of 11. The one that was hit was by Wiltshire, and he got a very good look at that point. But you know, you have a look at the other shooters, and Crawford's 0 of 4, Jet's 0 of 3. And Wiltshire's 1 of 3. Frolling's missed his only one to be 1 of 11. So that shooting percentage is very low at just 9%. When they've been inside, they're 10 of 19.
Yeah, look, it's doesn't take being a rocket scientist sometimes. Sometimes you get caught in the moment of the game, though, and if you're open, you feel I've got to shoot that shot. There's nothing wrong with that, but, you know, it's still early enough in the game to play that way. They might just need to look at adjustment in the second half if they don't work back into it enough.
Townsville out of the timeout with possession. Crawford. Baker, baseline, Fig.
Just rushed that Fig. They didn't quite make the first catch and just slipped out of his fingers on the way back up.
Here's Young on Fig. There's some hands in there, and the foul will be called, and it'll be 2 shots as well. So at the moment, obviously not going to plan for Townsville as Robinson comes into the game. Troy.
Plenty of positive in the fact, though, that Townsville certainly haven't been good so far, and they're only down 8 at this point. You know, 8 points in a men's game, even if it gets out to 10 here with these free throws, certainly isn't a lot the way the game's played these days. They just need to find a little bit of flow and something for them to consistently work on the offensive end. They're just chopping and changing all over the place with their offensive sets and not getting into any rhythm right now.
Both made at the foul line. 10-point lead to Gladstone. Allen's back into the game as well for Gladstone. As Jared Fig works down the floor. Crawford. Chudope. Jet. Inside they go to Baker. Chudope. Baker. Hook shot doesn't drop, and again, just passing.
Yeah, look, but Townsville's adjusted now and trying to work that post game, but they just haven't taken advantage of the fact that Gladstone's sending the late double every single time now. The other big's coming, and they're just not finding that pass that should release for a wide open shot.
So they get possession from the baseline. Shot clock's in single figures. Fig, there's the penetration off the window, and he gets the 2.
The Blue Crew happy with their sponsored player Figgy turning the corner and getting a good score, but defensively, that's just, I don't know. I think there was confusion then between whether they were in a zone or a man, and led to a wide open, you know, slipping behind the D.
For Tyler Allen, who made the 2, who's back into the game after being proppy on an ankle in the first term. Jared Fig with the 3. Jet, strong rebound, overreact. Crawford, back outside he goes to Chudope. Jet. Off the window it goes.
We've seen now 2 penetrations the last couple of plays and scores, so, you know, hopefully that's been some of the instruction delivered, and they see that that's going to work for them and continue to persist with it.
Allen for 3, doesn't go. And Jet with the rebound for Townsville. 8-point Gladstone lead. Jet. Chudope. Crawford, long 3, made it. 5-point lead to Gladstone.
And see, that's what happens. A couple of baskets out of penetration. D sucks in a little bit, and Crawford just more open on that last shot attempt.
Hancock, tough shot. Doesn't go off the glass. Jet with the rebound. Here he is now taking on Allen, and should have done better. Baker got the rebound. Crawford now penetrates, and all of a sudden, 3 penetrations, an open look for 3, and Townsville are back within 3. 3:20 left as a timeout is called. It's 38-35 Gladstone.
And look, it was a good attack by Jett at the first part of that possession as well. You know, like the thing rimmed out, but Baker was there for the board. You know, obviously you would hope that right now that Heat huddle's just going, or for the Heat fans, obviously they would hope that they're looking at that and just going, right, well, Gladstone's not being able to contain penetration at the moment. We need to keep the floor a little bit more spread. Let's get on the rim one-on-one situations and make sure that if our players are coming to help, we can read and react off that. You know, the post game that they tried to play, you know, wasn't working well because of Gladstone's ability to be able to congest it. So, you know, the perimeter game wasn't working, the post game wasn't working. They've now found a penetration game, which hopefully they can continue to exploit.
Well, 22 of their 35 have come from, 24 of their 35 have come inside the paint.
Yeah, so, you know, that's obviously the numbers on the three-point shooting have influenced that as well. Like, they have had a lot of open shots that just haven't gone down. But, you know, Gladstone's really going to need to address. I would suggest it would be very surprised if Gladstone don't come out in a zone or something out of this timeout just to try and congest that keyway a little bit more.
Out of the timeout. Gladstone with possession. React. Allen. Back to React. Nice pass, and then Robinson lost the handle on it.
So I see some extension up the floor on Jett here, so they've stayed in the man.
Crawford, Fig, Shudo, Jett now. Jett, and the foul is called on React.
And you can see right now, every time the Heat player's catching the ball, their first look right now is, can I penetrate against the closeout? So, you know, good things have come from that. They've got a foul on React.
Robinson sits back down. Lumcon back on. Shudo. Crawford. Turns it over.
Almost threw a pass to his mum in the stands there, Crawford. So where Linda called out for that one.
Lumcon for Gladstone as they lead by 3. Young and Crawford throwing out a leg there, and the foul will be called on Peter. Second team foul. Not a lot of fouls called so far in this contest.
Called on the base or on the floor, that one, so Gladstone ball from the side.
2:24 left second term. It's a 3-point lead to Gladstone. Lumcon. And then they turn it over. And really, they saved Keegan Tudhope's butt then, didn't he? He came out to try to get the steal. And
yeah, look, Keegan's done a great job on the defensive end, though, just lifting their intensity, and it's caused a lot of turnovers. So we see Gladstone shift to this zone now.
Wilshire back in for Fig. Jett pulls up, floater, doesn't drop. Rebound is with Allen, who quickly gives it to Young. And Gladstone come back at Townsville. Pulls up on Crawford, shoots over Crawford and gets himself 2. 40-35 Gladstone. Jett. Crawford. Wiltshire. Inside they go. Well read by Lumcon. And Townsville turn it over. Here's React down the floor in transition. And Tudhope did enough then to worry him out. Well, his defensive pressure was good on that occasion again. Wiltshire down the floor in transition. Jett does well the tool count, and he'll go to the line for a bonus.
Yeah, look, very nice. Great little onside dribble by Wiltshire there. I think the defender, it might have been Young there, just caught him on his heels, thinking he was coming middle, shot it back to the perimeter again, and found Jett, who had a nice finish through plenty of contact there.
And that nice little cameo from Keegan Tudhope gets him a sit down as Harry Frolling comes back into the game. And also Musters, so they must have been eyeballing each other on the bench, ready to come back on.
Yeah, look, it's just that shift back to the zone. You know, Rodney's probably just thought that, you know, get another big back out there, give some good targets.
2-point lead to Gladstone. It's 40-38. We're inside the final 80 seconds of the second term. Lumcon down the floor in transition. Lost it, got it back. Goes to Musters for a long two. It rimmed and came out. As Wilshire works the ball down the floor for Townsville. Jet deep in the corner. Crawford gets a good look for three. That doesn't drop. Young with the rebound. Foul doesn't get called on Baker, and Allen just hooks it over his shoulder for two more. 42-38. Wilshire with possession for Townsville. Jet pulls up, doesn't drop, tip doesn't go. Baker gets the rebound and puts it away.
Baker's been fantastic on the glass there tonight. He's just continuously got his little hand on, you know, pieces, whether he's come up with high boards or just got little deflections and pieces, but he's kept Townsville really positive at that end of the floor. He's only registered as 2-0 boards at the moment, but he's definitely had a bigger impact than that on the glass.
So timeout, change made. So Hancock back into the game, and Gladstone with possession through Young. And Allen this time put a foot on the line. It was almost the same move as the last time that Allen scored. 9 seconds left in this second term. Timeout called. Townsville will get last possession, an opportunity to even or go one up.
Yeah, so I might see a bit of ducks and drakes here from Gladstone. Do they come back out in the zone that they've been playing through at the moment, or do they, you know, challenge Townsville with a quick possession in man? I think ultimately you're probably looking for Townsville. I'd suggest maybe Jet getting his hands on the ball here, either looking to come off an on-ball, or, you know, it's Wilshire coming off an on-ball and then looking to try and suck D in and try and find those shooters late. Might see a Frolling pick and pop or something like that here, and look for him for a shot up high.
So 42-40 in favour of Gladstone, as we'll come out of the timeout with just 9 seconds left in a Townsville possession.
So I've got the full court play here, obviously not being the last quarter. They've still got to take it out down from the baseline. Gladstone looking to set up in some full court D here, just to try and shave a couple of seconds off the clock. Might be a 1-2, 1-1 press.
Frolling with possession on Musters. Doesn't drop, but he'll go to the line for a couple here. 4.4 left. And Coach Anderson now rallying a couple of defensive players on in Tudhope and McCulley.
So Crawford and Wilshire just coming to the bench here for this last possession. You see Todd come in for Baker as well, and White coming in as well. So wholesale changes for the Heat.
The only man that didn't get changed is the shooter. So Frolling at the line for two. And misses the first one. And makes the second one. 1 point Gladstone lead. Last possession. And there is a foul. And a heads-up play there, because they're not in the bonus. That's only the third team foul. Hence why a couple of those wholesale changes were made, I would surmise, Mark.
Yeah, look, if that was the ploy, it was a good play, you know, like get a couple of seconds off the clock. Now Gladstone left on a very short clock to try and get this last shot attempt off.
2.2 left on it. Here's Hancock, shoots a big three. It's long. And a half time, sorry. It is Gladstone 42, Townsville 41. For Gladstone, 12 points for Tyler Young, 9 for Shaq Riak, 8 for Hancock, and 6 for Allen, who played limited minutes. He was proppy on an ankle in the first term and came back and had an impact when he came into the game in the second term. For Townsville, Baker has 10, Jett has 9, Wilshire has 7, and the other two starters, Frolling and Crawford, each have 5 apiece. So at half-time, it's a 1-point lead to the visitors. Gladstone, Port City Power, they lead the Townsville Heat 42-41. Star FM Stadium tonight. Tony Parsons joined by Mark Roble at half-time. In the men's fixture, it's the Gladstone Port City Power leading the Townsville Heat by 42-41 after earlier tonight the Townsville women won very convincingly. Mark Roble, you've had an opportunity to step downstairs and have a couple of conversations.
Yeah, so talking from the Townsville bench perspective first, you know, Rod's complete focus is what they're doing on the defensive end. You know, his thoughts are the offense will look after itself, but to give up 42, he's really displeased with that. So their transition needs to be a bit better, and I think mainly it was just a focus on, you know, attention to detail and trying to contain their man and things like that. While for Gladstone, had a chat with Brady, and he's really happy with the outcome and the way the game's going right now. You know, wanted to, like, similar message to what they tried to portray in the women's game is the games that they've won, the Gladstone men, they've been in a battle the whole time, and they've been able to find their way through a battle, while all the games they lost, they've been blown out. So he's sitting pretty comfortably in the position they're in right now. The biggest concern for him was when Townsville went to a bit of zone D. He didn't think that they executed their stuff offensively as well as what they could have, and you know, that's something that they'll try and address coming out of this half.
So quarters of 21 and 20 for Townsville, and quarters of 27 and 15 for Gladstone. So whilst may have been disappointed defensively with the half as a whole, the latter stages of that second term were much better for Townsville.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and I think, you know, that very quick chat with them, they recognised offensively, they started to find their rhythm and what might be able to work for them. So, you know, their intent obviously in this quarter will just be to go in three-quarter time in front, have their nose in front, and then try and rely on this home crowd in the last quarter.
Underway for the third term. Townsville with first possession. Jett, Wiltshire inside, Baker, short. React with the rebound. Young on Wiltshire. Musters goes to React. Back to Musters, and this battle between Musters and Frolling continues. At the moment, it's a points decision to Musters with two more there, 44-41 Gladstone.
In the zone here for Gladstone to start off the quarter.
Crawford, fade away for two, doesn't go. Allen with the rebound. Young in transition for the visitors. Musters on Crawford, does well, doesn't drop with the shot. Frolling gets the rebound, but it'll be a Gladstone ball. Possession arrow with Gladstone.
The Townsville just needing to find a little bit of a better answer against this zone. Like, they've had two open shots at the elbow, but they just need to find a different execution right now.
Hancock for the three, doesn't drop. And Justin Baker with the rebound for Townsville. Wiltshire. Jett. Wiltshire. Back to Jett. Inside they go. Frolling puts it away.
Great find there by Frolling. By Jett, sorry. The reversal came and Frolling just had the inside seal on the weak side and threaded the pass through beautifully.
Young, and they lost possession. Wasn't a great pass from Hancock. Young was under all sorts of pressure. It's a one-point game. That's where it was at half-time rather.
Interesting from Gladstone here, just that one score, and they've come out of this zone.
Wiltshire. Baker hands it off to Crawford, who goes along the baseline, and the reverse layup is good for two.
And the Heat hit the lead for the first time in a long time now in this game.
React. Hancock deep in the corner for three. He's due, but that one doesn't drop. Jett in transition. Gets Musters had no idea. He was almost hands up in resignation, wasn't he? And Townsville.
I think there was even a little cheeky ball pat on his back as he turned him around.
3-point lead to Townsville. Riak goes back outside to Young. Young penetrates. And Jet called for the foul. A lot of body contact there. 7:38 left third term. And it's Townsville 47, Gladstone, Port City Power 44.
And Jet looking a little disappointed there, but he got up saying, I got ball, but unfortunately while he got ball, he got a hell of a lot of body as well.
Young at the line for two. He and Riak. Certainly Young played all 20 minutes of the first half. And he makes the first of two at the foul line.
Good composure there. Get up after a hard foul and being able to knock down free throws. Key element to winning big games.
Makes both. 1-point game. 47-46 Townsville. Wiltshire. Wiltshire does very well. And puts it away for two.
Look, I think Gladstone really need to think about their defensive sets here. You know, they started that half in the zone, got some stops, you know. Townsville did get a score, but as soon as they've come out of it, they've gone to the man, and Townsville's last couple of possessions, penetration for scores.
Young gets two, and there's an off-the-ball foul called on Riak as he and Baker became entangled, and Baker hit the pine. 7:05 left third term. Townsville 49, Gladstone 48. Young with 14 leads the scorers for the visitors. 9 for Riak, 8 for Hancock and Allen. Back underway. Wiltshire pulls up. That two doesn't go. The tip doesn't go from Baker. He fights hard. Can't get the rebound. Wiltshire stole it back. And it was good defensive work there by Musters. For Gladstone. And it'll be a Gladstone ball from the baseline.
I love Baker's activity on the glass. He's just an absolute warrior going into battle and tip and tip. That just wears out that player, whoever he's playing against.
One-point Townsville lead. Gladstone with possession. 6:45 left third term. Young. Baker slipped. That gave Young an opportunity to shoot the three. It doesn't go. Baker got back there to get a touch on the rebound. Ends up with Crawford. Jet. Jet. The penetration from Jet. He's fouled. He'll go to the line for a couple. It's called on Musters. That's his fourth foul. And that's a big foul, isn't it? Number 4 for him.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I think this might even help Gladstone, because without Musters out there, they might be forced to go back to that zone just because of the size mismatches. And that's probably when they've looked their best tonight.
Siganovic is on. I hope that's correct.
If it's not, we're going to run with it anyway.
Yeah, it'll do us tonight. Jet makes the first of two at the foul line. Where are all the Smiths and Jones?
Not in Gladstone.
No. Jet makes both at the foul line. 3-point Townsville lead, 51-48. Allen. Young. Knocked away from him by Wiltshire, who's been very busy in this third term, Mark. And then the... Ooh. That's a 50-50 call.
Yeah, look. Tech foul now to Baker, I think, having something to say. No?
Yep.
Yeah, first foul on Wiltshire for the block, and then a tech foul on Baker. So Gladstone will go to the line here for the shot and the possession back. I think Gladstone with this smaller group, Coach Walmsley gesturing to the group down there last possession that they want to get into some 5-out motion. You know, obviously without a big body there, they're going to try and look to spread the floor and try and get into some penetration game themselves against the Heat.
So the one shot for the Tech, was it?
Yes, yep.
And that was taken by Hancock. Allen. React over Baker. Baker got a touch on that, I think, in flight. Frolling with the rebound for Townsville. Down the floor in transition. Off the window he goes. Townsville extend the lead to 4.
Yeah, looking Gladstone there. I think it was Allen. Probably just really need to step up the lane. Steal by Townsville here again.
Here's Frolling again. It's 4-on-1 against Frolling. And we'll have the floor wipers on, I think. As Lumcon will come back into the game. And Allen will sit down for the visitors.
So we're halfway through this third quarter, and the Heat have, you know, taken that little bit of ascendancy, 4-point, you know, margin now. So 5-point split on this quarter for them. You know, Gladstone just a little bit disjointed, both on the offensive and defensive end so far this quarter.
Back underway. Now that slight disruption. Young on Jet. Young lost his balance and turned it over. Jet for Townsville, comes down the floor, goes to Frolling, kicks it out to Wiltshire, who goes back to Jet, who gets a very good look for 3 and had a good look itself, but didn't drop.
Yeah, it took just about every little piece of the rim then and just spat out.
Lumcon inside, and the contact there by Frolling on React, and the Shack will go to the line for 2. 5:04 left in this third term. And it's a term where Townsville have won it.
Yeah, Frolling just got caught out a little bit by that just up fake. It was a nice little up fake by Riak, and you know, he was probably disappointed he didn't play through that contact and get the M1 in the end, but off to the foul line, just trying to get this thing back to 2 points here.
Misses the second one. He made the first. Baker got the rebound for Townsville. And Wiltshire, who's been very good in this term for Townsville, goes to Baker. Jet inside to Frolling. Frolling backing in on React. I think there was some contact there. Appeared to be some contact, but ultimately it'll be a ball in from the baseline to be Townsville's possession. Well, not the worst result for Townsville. Crawford had a foot on the line. So it'll be a turnover against Townsville and a ball from the side for Gladstone. 3-point lead to Townsville, 53-50.
And Spirit's just simmering here a little bit on both sides. Some players getting a bit agitated by calls.
Hancock for 3. It's a tied-up game. 53 apiece.
And turns around and has a quick word to the Townsville bench as he runs away. So just a little bit of simmer all over the place at the moment, which is nice.
Crawford short with the 3 over the top of Hancock. And he gets the hit rebound, the long rebound. Gets fouled on the layup, the reverse layup, and will go to the line for a bonus. As Lumcon also hit the deck.
Yeah, Jet got away with one there. It was a good two-hand shove off the ball and Lumcon went flying, but refs just didn't quite pick that one up.
Couple of changes. Rees comes in, so too does McCulley for Townsville. As Townsville lead by 2, and Peter Crawford at the line for a bonus. And he makes that one. So it's a 3-point Townsville lead. Lumpcon goes to react. Lumpcon, Young. Nice pass to react.
Great find. Yeah, Townsville gone to this zone now, which caused Gladstone some headaches in the second quarter.
Crawford, a lot of contact there again, but Peter Crawford puts away a tough basket for 2 more. Townsville lead by 3. Young, and the foul is called on McCulley.
Yeah, McCulley just caught a little bit out of balance there, and then this 15 foul for Townsville, so Gladstone in the bonus now.
So they'll go to the line for a couple, and Peter Crawford now with 12. Jet with 13 leads the Townsville scorers. 10 for Frolling and Baker, and 9 for Wiltshire. Young at the line for 2. Makes the first one. Puts the second one away, so it's a 1-point game. Wiltshire with possession. McCulley for Townsville. Wiltshire shoots the 3.
Lumpcon, good contest on that, but Wiltshire just got it off just quick enough.
He's into double figures now, so all Townsville starters in double figures. Good spread. Townsville lead by 4. Hancock with the rebound, put a foot on the line. Not happy, Jan.
And Hancock pleading with the ref for a foul there, and it actually was pushed by his own man, that rebounding contest. So
Townsville with possession, leading by 4. Here's Crawford. Wiltshire gets another good look for 3. Not success. Good rebound though, Frolling. Gets fouled on the putback. The 2 will count. We'll go to the line for a bonus. And Townsville now have their biggest lead of the night.
Yeah, look, Wiltshire, feeling good. They've run that set a couple of times now. 3, off that miss though, Frolling got himself into a great position.
Timeout call. 3:03 left, third term. Townsville lead by 63 to 57, and that 6 points is their biggest lead of the night. And they lead this term by 22 to 7, Mark.
Yeah, look, it's 22-15.
Sorry, 22-15, yeah. 7
22
difference.
to 7 might have been a bit different.
7 difference, 7 difference.
Yeah, look, the heat of, taking this last couple of minutes, and again, you're just playing with depth a little bit. They've been able to roll through some players, bring Reese, McCulley in off the bench. They've contributed really well. I think they've just probably got themselves back more composed after the game was just starting to get a little bit tense all over the place. They've composed themselves after that tech foul to Baker and come out and executed some good offense, which has got them feeling good about themselves, whereas Gladstone is starting to get their head into every call right now, and the emotions getting the better of them.
And the extension of that Townsville lead, I know you spoke about defensively, the zone might work for Gladstone, but Musters now with 4 personal fouls probably hasn't helped their cause.
No, they haven't gone back to that zone. They've sort of stuck in the man, and they've been chasing through some stuff. And it's Townsville that's gone to the zone that last couple of minutes, which has caused Gladstone some headaches.
So when we come out of this timeout, Harry Frolling will go to the line for a free throw. And he converts at the foul line. And he now has 13. And he and Jet, who sits down at the moment, both have 13 for Townsville to lead the Townsville scorers. Saganovic goes to Hancock. Air ball. Lumcon nearly came up with the possession for Gladstone. Ends up with McCulley ultimately as they work down the floor.
Now Gladstone have gone into the zone out of this timeout.
Crawford, long three. 67-57, Townsville lead by 10.
So you see McCulley's come out here and he's come with a specific job of just trying to guard Young really tight now and causing some headaches for him. Gladstone getting preoccupied with that and even trying to set off-screen balls for him in the off-ball screens for him in the backcourt.
Oh, and now Peter Crawford feeling it. Buries another one from deep in the right corner. And Townsville lead by 13. Lumcon misses what he should have made. And Rees with the rebound. Wiltshire in transition down the floor for Townsville. The hot hand is Crawford. Outside, Frolling, he likes to look for three. That doesn't drop. Riak with the rebound for Gladstone. Quick release on the pass, but Frolling read it like a book.
Crawford was open for a second or so there and was disappointed he didn't see the ball then.
Wiltshire looks for three. McCulley with the rebound. Back to Wiltshire. Wiltshire, penetration, pulls up, nice pass. Rees puts it away off the glass for two. And Gladstone want another timeout. It's a 15-point Townsville lead. And the scoring run is 14.
Yeah, look, I'm sure that Coach Walmsley, that was the last thing he wanted to do, call that timeout. But, you know, they've just, the game, if he doesn't call that right now, this game's slipping away. Really needs to get stopping a score out of these last couple of possessions of this quarter. Trying just to make sure they take something into the fourth quarter with a bit of confidence.
Well, they've scored the last 14, Mark, after leading 58-57.
Well, look, Gladstone's got to find a way right now to get Young a good touch on the ball. So McCulley's doing an outstanding job of just making things hard for him even to get the ball, or when he's got the ball. McCulley's been around this league for a very long time, you know, as a defender primarily. So he's making them uncomfortable and having to play, you know, everything through other players. And that's frustrating what Gladstone want to do with the ball right now.
For Townsville, Peter Crawford found his range in this term, now has 18 points. On shooting of 7 of 14. He's 3 of 9 from downtown. I think he was 0 of his first 4, and then hit his 5th one, and hit his last 2.
Yeah, he suddenly caught fire, so and that's the dangerous thing for Gladstone. Now they've gone to that zone after he's already got his eye in. That can cause some headaches for them.
But that's the streaky shooting nature that Peter Crawford can be, can't he?
Correct, yeah.
Allen for Gladstone. React on Rees, and there's a hand there. It'll be a foul called on 14. 1:03 left in the term, Townsville by 15. And that's 5. Oh, we're already at the bonus, Townsville, and Riak will go to the line for 2.
So
try and break this 14-0 run that Townsville are currently on.
We'll see what Gladstone does defensively out of this as well, whether they try and change up the tempo, get up the floor, run some traps, try and cause some turnovers somewhere here from the Townsville team.
Well, he missed the first one, Riak. And he missed the second one, so it's still a 14-0 run, Townsville, and they get the rebound ultimately through Baker. Wiltshire down the floor. Crawford gets fouled on the shot. Or is it on the floor? No, it's
3 shots
on the shot. So go to the foul line here for 3. For 3 foul shots will Peter Crawford, in an attempt to extend this ballooning Townsville lead.
Look how fortunes change. You know, they make those 2 free throws. If the contest goes here and they don't get the foul and there's a miss out of that, you know, that's a big swing. But then PC goes and ices these 3 free throws here, and any momentum Gladstone could have quickly got disappears straight away.
Crawford at the line for 3, makes the first one. Misses the second. But he's had a very good third term, has Peter Crawford. And Wiltshire. Makes 2 of 3 at the line. He now has 20, Peter Crawford. 15 for the quarter.
He's done an outstanding job.
Wiltshire started the quarter, and Crawford's finished it off, hasn't he? The penetration there, and they'll go to the foul line. As Owen hits the pine, he'll go to the foul line for a couple of shots. As we have a substitution for Townsville. Keegan Tudhope will come on, and so too will Todd. Reese sits down, and so too does Jordair Jett. Don't know that, and they miss again at the foul line. I don't know that Jordair Jett was pleased about that substitution.
Look, probably not, but just extend that three-quarter break for him a little bit more, get a tiny bit more blow. They're in good control of the game.
And there's a holding foul called. And that...
we'll see McCulloch go to the stripe for 2 now.
It is 5, yep. They finally made one at the foul line anyway. So Townsville on that 16-0 run has been broken now. Crawford gets to sit down and White comes in. 15-point third term for Peter Crawford. McCulley at the foul line. Misses the first. Makes the second. Townsville lead is 17, 75-58. Young. Baker does well. Todd ends up with the rebound, but some good work from Baker underneath the basket. McCulley, Todd, White, Baker. Baker backing in on Riat. And they get the rebound here through Hancock to Gladstone. Deep in the corner is Allen for 3. It's long. And McCulley is fouled by Hancock. Lost a little bit of composure, I think, Gladstone in this term, haven't they?
Hancock particularly, he's really gone off the boil. He's disputing everything. Yep. He's shaking his head at every single call. And it's certainly not helping his game right now.
And that wasn't the smartest foul, I don't think, to give away, was it?
It's an obvious foul. Yeah. I don't know what you're shaking your head about on that. He's come and tried to spike the thing like a volleyball and come straight through a player.
First is missed by McCulley at the foul line.
Whether it's just frustration at himself and the way he's playing right now. So, but either way, you expect someone who's been in an NBL program to be able to have a little bit more composure about what they're doing at this level.
Makes 1 of 2 at the foul line again. Does McCulley. Got the interception. Forced the turnover. But at three-quarter time, wow, what a turnaround from half-time. Townsville lead 76-58.
And not just from half-time, even halfway through that quarter, it was a 2-3 point game, and then suddenly it just exploded. And, look, I've talked about it a little bit already, but, it's not necessarily happened because of what's happened on the offensive end. A lot of coaches, a lot of spectators out there, get excited about different elements of the game. And I particularly got excited about watching then Brendan McCulley just wearing Young like an absolute glove. And that took Gladstone out of absolutely everything that they were doing. Their point guard wasn't getting his hands on the ball. So they were then running in through other offensive sets, other people trying to step up and make plays. And, McCulley, to me, even though he didn't score that much, was a major turning point in that quarter.
So 76-58 was a 35-16 term for Townsville, but a term where Wiltshire probably started with all the energy and then was able to be some confidence found in the shooting range of Peter Crawford. He ended up with 15 for the term. He went into the break, the major break, with 5. He now has 20 for the game.
Yeah, 3 threes in that quarter, and even out of one of the fouls when he caught a ball after the play was dead. Caught it over on the weak side, launched another 3, nothing but net, obviously not counting, but he's obviously feeling really good about himself right now.
So they've ramped it up defensively as well. So that first term, Townsville gave away 27, but the following 2 terms, 15 and 16. So something you spoke about that the coach wasn't necessarily happy with at halftime, but surely from midway through the second term, he'd be happy with that.
Yeah, have to be a lot happier with the way that they've played there. You know, and he's gone to his go-to defensive players. You know, Tudhope did it in the second quarter. You know, McCulley's done it in the third quarter. They've just come in and locked down players for a little bit and just made a major influence on the game.
Interesting that Hancock doesn't come out and start this final term for Gladstone. Just body language is all wrong towards the end of that third term. Jet in the corner, Tudhope for 3, gets it. Isn't it funny how none of that was happening in the first probably quarter and a half, and now they're starting to fall?
Just takes a little bit of confidence, someone start getting going, and it can turn the whole team.
Todd gives away a foul. Townsville lead is 21.
And look, they need shots like that out of Keegan and Tudhope with this group that they've got out there at the moment, you know. Without him, you know, White's very inexperienced at this level. Todd's, you know, a good banger and a good body to be out there, but he's not going to go and score stacks of points for you. So without trying to make too much fall on Jet and Baker's shoulders.
Todd at the other end misses what he should have made after Gladstone turned it over. Here's Owen down the floor. Allen, Owens, poor pass, off legs, goes to Musters, who misses. And Baker with the rebound for Townsville. Rebound number 7 for Baker. Jet's got 7 as well. Whilst there's points contributions as Todd gets a couple underneath the basket.
Lovely little move by Todd there.
You have a look at the rebounds for Townsville. Baker's got 7, Frolling 6, Crawford 5, Jet 7. So not only the point scoring has been shared, but they've been working defensively strongly as well.
And look, I think the Blue Crew have taken a little shining to react tonight. I don't know if there's been some dialogue bouncing back and forward, but every mistake he makes, they're certainly having some fun with him.
Townsville lead is 23, it's 81-58. Here's Baker, floater, doesn't go. Does he get the rebound? Comes off his fingertips. Owen ends up with it. Owen on White. Off the window, doesn't go. Young doesn't get the stick back on the rebound.
And he's hurt his ankle or leg or something there.
And they'll stop play just now. Mind you, there's not a lot of leg to happen there, is there?
I hadn't noticed that till now, but yes, they're...
Yeah, his calves really are calves. They're baby ones. As he'll get a seat for the first time tonight, Young. He's been tireless in his efforts tonight.
Yeah, look, he's battled away and he's done it hard, particularly in this second half. You know, the Heat really have clamped down on him and said to Gladstone, somebody else go and get the job done, and they haven't been able to do that.
Owen has possession for Gladstone. Lumcon heads baseline. Goes to react. And he still doesn't make it. Now the Blue Crew love that. Jet for Townsville. Down the floor. Touched there by Musters. And do we have a timeout called? No, just some substitutions. Hancock comes in. Owen sits down. Frolling comes in.
Todd back to the bench.
Tudhope, White, Frolling. Nice pass inside to Tudhope. And it drops too. It was a nice pass from Jordan Jet. Good recognition.
Yeah, good flash through from the weak side.
Townsville lead is 25. We didn't see this at halftime.
No, look, you always thought that Townsville could potentially start to put a bit of gap in this game, but I certainly didn't expect it to blow out like it did.
Basket is waved away. Hancock gave a good verbal to the Townsville bench, but I reckon they've got it back in bucket loads.
Look, again, Hancock makes that mistake right in front of the bench, and there's still George Jackson with players on the bench. It's not his game, obviously. He needs to forget about it and move on.
They've got it in his head, haven't they?
Yeah.
Jet. Chudo. Jet. Dispossessed. Got it back, though. Shot clock's at 4. Chudo for 3. Makes it.
The Townsville bench loving this. Keegs coming out and having a great night on the offensive end.
28-point Townsville lead. Here's Hancock. Finally makes one. Mate, here's a heads-up tip. You're a mile behind, but he still give it to the Townsville bench. Jet drops the floater for 2.
And I think the main protagonist off the bench, Jared Figg, getting into Hancock, is about to come into the game. So
should be interesting. React gets fouled. He'll go to the line for a couple. Townsville lead is 27, 88-61, as Jared Figg's about to enter the fray.
And I presume that might be the last we see of Jet tonight.
With 6:11 left. Tudor now has 8 points in the contest. First of a couple made at the line by React is good. Makes both. 25-point Townsville lead. Here's Frolling. Wiltshire back out there running the roll for Townsville. Frolling spins, shot short. Musters with the rebound. Lumcon to React. Lumcon on Wiltshire. Gets by Wiltshire. Lost it, got it back. Shoots the 2, misses. Rebound, Tudor, I think, got last touch. It'll be a baseline ball for Gladstone.
The ref's just discussing shot clock here. Reset it back to 14. Townsville didn't have great possession of the ball there, so
React goes inside. Here's Robinson for 2. It's short. Hancock. React gets by Baker. Pulls up at Frolling. Shoots the 2 over him. Robinson had the rebound. Lost it. Baker off the window. It's a bit lazy.
Yeah, just
nonchalant.
Got put off a little bit by Hancock. Did a good job just influencing that shot.
React for 3. It's short. Musters misses with the stick back, but he got fouled by Baker. He'll now go to the line for a couple.
Matty Reese coming into the game for Baker here now. So again, probably a sub. We won't see Baker back, I'd imagine. Townsville comfortably in the lead, 25 points here.
Musters makes the first of 2. Makes both, so we're at 23-point Townsville lead. There's Wiltshire with possession. Frolling, Figg, inside, Reese. Wiltshire shoots the 3. Wide of the mark, and rebound is with Hancock. He comes down the floor. Musters. Oh, good work. Mind you, Lumcon had gone from where Musters last saw him.
And Tudo just getting up in that lane. Unfortunately got a tip on it, otherwise another turnover.
React. Pulls up at Rees, goes back to Lumcon for 2, doesn't go. Rebound with Frolling, quick release pass. Jared Figg at the other end, gets fouled. And he'll go to the line for a couple.
Figgy leaking out a little bit early there. I think they refer to that as cherry picking at times, don't they? But he won't care. He's earned himself a trip to the stripe, and now we've got the last, I think, timeout. Last one called by Gladstone here. With the heat up, 88-65, 4 minutes 10 to go.
And they haven't shot at a super high percentage either, Townsville. It's just at 44.
No, but it's been the defensive end, you know, which is something that, you know, Coach Anderson spoke about at halftime. It was the very first thing that came out of his mouth when I got an opportunity to have a quick chat with him at halftime, was that, you know, he didn't really care about what was going on at the offensive end and thought that they'd figure that out. But defensively, they need to be a lot better, and that's what they certainly have done.
16 turnovers for Gladstone, and they were very good with the ball in the first term. And such as the pressure they've been under and the turnovers that have happened, the things have turned around as far as that momentum is concerned.
Yeah, looking, just watching Coach Walmsley here with the Gladstone team, he's urging his players to get up and play full court and play a bit, you know, more extended defensively here. Try and probably speed up the game. That's the only chance they have right now. You know, it's a remote chance, but the only chance they have is by making this thing as many possessions as they can, hopefully getting some stops and then making some shots.
Mitchell Knight comes into the game for his first court time tonight for Gladstone, as Figg makes the first of 2 at the foul line, and his sponsors are very pleased. He makes both. 25-point Townsville lead. Lumcon down the floor in transition, makes the 2.
Full court trapping pressure there from Gladstone, just trying to force a turnover.
Tudo, Wilshire. Figg took off to the races a little bit early, did he? No, there's a off-the-ball foul called on Matthew Rees.
Yeah, Townsville just run a little gate play there, and Rees just a little bit too much movement on the screen.
Lumcon for Gladstone. Hancock, that 3 doesn't go. Robinson gets the rebound and finally gets a couple of points for his work.
He's come out and just been a workman in this last part of the game, battling away.
Rees, Wiltshire, Todd, Figg for 3. That doesn't drop. Rees gets the rebound for Townsville.
And Townsville just doing their best to take time out of the clock now. You know, every offensive possession should be getting down deep in the shot clock. Just completely trying to negate what Gladstone's doing and taking away any chance for them.
Lumcon loses possession, and Tudhope down the floor in transition for Townsville. Rees, Wiltshire, Figg, he's got a feel for it. He wants it all the time. Doesn't go. Oh, great tip in on the rebound by Tudhope, who's had a mighty game off the bench, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been very good.
Lumcon, good hands in there from Todd. Eventually, Townsville get possession. Figg does very well again, and here he is down the floor in transition. Pulls up, the shot is short.
Yeah, I think Figgy, the blood's just rushing a little bit right now. His last couple of attempts probably not the wisest shots for Townsville, but the game's well in hand, so having a bit of fun out there.
Hancock gets another couple. It's a 23-point lead to Townsville, 94-71, as Wilshire gets over half court. Hands it to Figg. Figg goes to Tudhope. Tudhope likes what he sees for the 3. Some substitutions will come in now, but there's another 3 for Tudo. And off the bench, he's into double figures. He now has 13.
And Ethan Betts comes into the game for his first minutes tonight. So he's only this week committed to a Div 2 college in the States, Adams State. So he'll be heading off sometime soon. Another good Townsville junior heading off to go into bigger pastures overseas.
Lumpcon, it's a 26-point Townsville lead. Musters for 3, Long. Robinson with the rebound. Musters. Fig gets fouled, and that was just pure hustle, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, look, that's what Fig does. He's a little, to be honest, I've coached him, Tony. He's a little pain in the butt at times. He's full of energy, doesn't stop, wants to be all over the game everywhere. But he's a lot of fun to coach at times as well because of that energy.
Can drive your batty though at times.
Correct, yeah.
Todd inside for Rees. And the Townsville bench are doing the job at the moment. They're out to a 28-point lead. So much so that Keegan Tudope's got a spell.
Yeah, and you've got White, Matty White's back out there again for this last minute or so.
Owen, Musters on Rees. Betts comes to give a hand. Shot clock is winding down. Robinson lost the handle on it, and it'll be a Townsville possession.
And unfortunately for Gladstone, this has probably just flipped their script back about a month or so, back to their earlier dramas in the season. Defensively not being able to hold to a score that can contain, and that then flows onto their offensive side where they lose a little bit of confidence, one not feeding well off the other.
Betts with the penetration, the shot doesn't drop. Musters, who is the only starter on the floor at the moment, is Owen on Fig. Charge foul. Well, it has gone pear-shaped for Gladstone since half-time, hasn't it?
Yeah, look, it has. Coach Walmsley was in a very nice place at halftime when I spoke to him. I can't imagine that feeling would be the same right now.
58-29 since the main break. When they led Gladstone, 3 more.
And that 3 from Whitey brings up the 100 for the Heat boys.
As the dying moments of the game, White gets the foul called on him.
And the blue crew into Gladstone chanting, drive home safely.
102-71. It's a 31-point Townsville lead. As Mitch Knight's at the line for Gladstone, makes the first of 2. Short with the second. Rebound is with Rees. And Fig will bring down the ball down the court. And with 1.4 seconds left, that'll be just about all she wrote. Townsville will get an inbound here. And it's short on the shot. But Townsville, a comprehensive second half. We're at the break at half-time. Gladstone led 42-41. Townsville have run out winners 102-71, a 60-30, a 60-29 second half for Townsville.
And that'll take Townsville's record now to 9-2 from their 11 games, and keep them locked into at least third spot, depending on other results on the weekend. While Gladstone now slips to 4-7. So again, they're probably not going to have too much movement away from that 10th or so spot that they've got, but they've got to back up for another game against Cairns tomorrow night. Back up after a loss that they had against that same team last week. So they need to bounce back pretty quickly and just get over this loss and hopefully go up to Cairns and produce tomorrow night.
For Townsville, their scorers, well, Peter Crawford, who had 15 points in the third term, didn't score in the final term, had 5 points in the first half, but all the damage was done in a pretty outstanding third term as far as Townsville were concerned. So Peter Crawford with 20, Jordair Jett with 15, Harry Frolling 13, Justin Baker 10, and on the bench, Keegan Tudorhope will certainly get the best off the bench award by a long way with his 13 points and a lot of hustle in defence as well.
Yeah, look, Keegan did a great job. McCulley did a great job off the bench. Reese did a great job off the bench. They have plenty of solid contributors. So, I think while Anderson wouldn't be happy with that first half and he showed displeasure at halftime when I spoke to him, he's got to be happy with that output in the second half, and now that gets them ready for a big matchup next weekend against Cairns.
So 102 to 72 to Townsville, and for the visitors, their leading point scorers were Hancock in the end with 17, Young 16, Riak 14, Allen 8, and Musters also one of their starters with 6. But a big second half by Townsville, Mark, has given Townsville a 102. There's some differences in the scoreboard. The main scoreboard in the stadium says 71, and online it says 72. So it's comprehensive anyway, whichever way you look at it, whether it's 30 or 31. A very strong Townsville second half as they run out winners 107 to either 102 rather to either 71 or 72.
And a great night tonight. Thanks for joining us, Tony, and we'll speak to everyone again hopefully next week
when Townsville take on Cairns.